You want to plant right next to here. And these just need to kind of sit on top of the surface. And then you want to poke.
Eco-art is artists calling attention to the climate crisis and trying to come up with actionable ways to improve our current situation. Taking Flight is an eco-art project where I work with students to teach them paper making and print making, all while learning about pollinators. The paper that we make is actually embedded with wildflower seeds that we end up planting as part of the project. This week I am taking my Taking Flight project to the Foundry Art Center. The Foundry Art Center hosts kindergarten through middle schoolers, so up to 8th grade. We talk about the importance of plants and pollinators, and they learn a couple of techniques. So they did relief printmaking, which is kind of like a stamp, and then they also did monotype, where you cover the surface with a thin layer of ink and then you remove the ink. So those are both part of the finished quilt that we make.
Excellent.
Part of Taking Flight is that it feeds into the collaborative nature of lots of people making small efforts leading to big results. And one of the things that pollinators need is host plants and nectar supply and lots of flowers all throughout the season. It involves a couple different steps. The first step is workshops with kids or adults where there's kind of education with the importance of pollinators, but at the same time they're learning hand paper making and printmaking. The students tear the paper egg cartons up into small pieces, then we put them in the blender, then we made a slurry, and then you scoop it up with a screen, and then they sprinkle the seeds on top to distribute across the surface, and some of it's already in the water floating around. So it's just fibers like impregnated with seed, and then the rain will end up degrading it. I did not realize how fun the sensory process of it is. Like even the paper slurry, like the kid that some of the kids that I just worked with didn't want to put their hands in the vat, and they were like, oh, it looks like barf, right? Because it's little tiny pieces floating around and it's this gray mass. And then towards the end, like he didn't even want to stop and they want to sit and play in it. Like the sensory experience of it is pretty fantastic. And then for the reveal, we'll actually take the seed paper that we make in the hand paper making, and that kind of drab, we've used recycled egg cartons. We'll use that drab gray to kind of cover that super bright quilt up with little bee-sized pins. And then at the reveal, we'll have the quilt, but it will be covered with all the seed paper. As people go up, they'll grab one of the little bee pins, they'll take the seed paper, they'll be able to actually plant it and have wildflowers grow. They'll end up revealing this beautiful display of all those plants and pollinators that we talked about, just showing that a little patchwork everywhere helps to support all of those really important beneficial accents.